Hello friends, Heidi here from Rain Country. God is good all the time, and I'm here for another herb profile video, and today we're going to be talking about oregano, mostly your common oregano, especially like your Mediterranean oregano, which is often called Greek or Italian, etc. And I'm going to be talking about the benefits and uses. Now this is really, these kind of videos that I do are mostly just a jumping off point. I'm not going to be talking about every tiny little detail and benefit of every single plant, because a lot of your herbs like this, whether it be what we consider a culinary herb such as oregano, thyme, or rosemary, also contain a whole lot of medicinal benefits, health benefits, and the list can go on and on. Mostly what I try to focus on is the most common ones that we think of, and then go on about some of the ways that you can use that, or at least the way that I use it. And then what you can do is take the information I give you here and start doing some more of your own research, especially if when I mention something about a certain health benefit or ailment that it helps with, and that's something that speaks to you, what I recommend then that you do is then do more specific research on that. So go look it up by doing a search such as oregano and arthritis, and then start doing some more serious research and compare your different websites and places that you go to, making sure that you also check the website it's coming from and that it seems like a pretty reliable and trustworthy source. So that's really important that you do that. I always cross-reference all the information I get between my books and the websites, and also don't forget, get yourself some hard copy books. You're not always going to have the internet to be able to search these things. So I always have a list of some books in my description box. If you open up the description box, click on show more or the little gray arrow, and then go through my various links. I'll try to remember to move it towards the top, the list of books. So one thing about oregano that is super great is it is in the mint family, which means it is a very easy to grow. Well, not all mint family herbs are as easy to grow as oregano. Like for some people like us, thyme and rosemary tend to be a little bit more difficult because they don't like the heavy rains that we get, but oregano loves it because it grows more like your other mints such as peppermint, mojito mint, and those type of mints. And actually I have a video I did last year on showing how I easily made starts of my mojito mint. Apply this to your oregano if you already have an oregano plant, if you want to make more plants. That's how I've done it. I'll link to that video down below, but it is super simple. And if you're needing an oregano plant, and you know somebody who's got some healthy oregano plants going, just go ask them. Offer to pay them for a start, and my guess is, especially if they know you well, they'll be willing to just give it to you. I've done this for people around here many times. I am happy to give them an oregano start because I have lots of oregano, and it's so easy just to pull up a little piece with a little bit of root on it. That's all you need, and hand it to them, and they can plant it just about anywhere and it will grow. And you can just keep doing that. Make as many plants as you want, but you know, really all you need is one good healthy plant, and it should give you plenty. Because I think I have at least 3 good healthy oregano plants. I think it's 4 though that I have, and I don't need that many. I probably should pull one up and use that space for something else. I'm gonna first list off just the basic properties that it has. So it's antioxidant, which means it helps fight and prevent cancer. It's antibacterial, antiviral, antimicrobial, antifungal, anti-inflammatory. So right there, you should give you a pretty good idea of the many uses it's going to have. So now let me go ahead and list off some of the different ailments that you may have that this can be beneficial at helping. Arthritis, diabetes, because it helps regulate blood sugars, allergies and asthma. It restores damaged kidney and liver tissues, helps with depression, helps with UTIs, which of course, urinary tract infections, Oregano is a natural antibiotic, like I already mentioned, so of course it's going to help with a UTI or any other types of infections. It's good for headaches. This is a new one to me. I never knew that, but it actually makes sense because we know many plants in the mint family, such as peppermint and catnip, are also really good for headaches. Rosemary is another good one for that. It helps with heart conditions, helps lower cholesterol, and is good for indigestion, which that one kind of surprised me too, that was another new one. But then again, remembering it's in the mint family, we know a lot of mints are good for indigestion and other digestive issues. If you're going to use it more in a topical form, here's some, whether it be in the oil or if you're crushing the herb itself and using it straight from the plant, it's good for acne, fungal infections, psoriasis, rosacea, insect bites. It also makes a good insect repellent, muscle and joint pain, warts, and dandruff. So that's just a list of a few of the things it can help with. And then now let me talk a little bit about how I use it. Now I do a lot of dehydrating, as most of you know, throughout the year. In fact, right now, I have them turned off for the sake of the video, but I've got my dehydrator sitting outside on the table here because it's a nice warm day. So I like to dehydrate outside in such case so we don't heat up the inside of the house even more so. And one of the things I have on my dehydrators today is oregano. I've got a lot of oregano dehydrated up from previous years, but the more I find ways to use it besides just cooking, because of course it goes in all of my Italian sauces and certain Mexican dishes I make as well. I do have other uses for it, and because of its many medicinal benefits, I've been ramping up the use of it, so I'm trying to get a lot more put up this year. So one of the things I'm doing to work through my older oregano faster, this is my newest jar right here, is I've been adding it to the chickens' feed. I just sprinkle the dried oregano right in their feed, and so they eat that because it's really good to help with, yes, their digestion, help with any internal issues they have, whether it be a parasitic infection or a viral infection or anything like that. So that goes in their feed. It's very healthy for them, and I just sprinkle a little bit every time I fill up their container. I sprinkle a little bit in there and mix it through. Another thing that I use my oregano for, the dried oregano, is I use it to make an antibiotic extract. Now I don't say tincture because a tincture is an extract that's made specifically with a high proof alcohol that is at least 80 proof and above. I now make all extracts. I don't even make tinctures anymore. So I just make extracts because I can use my own homemade organic wine to extract the herbs, and I find in any uses I've used it for medicinally, it's been just as effective using the homemade wine or even vinegar as using a high proof alcohol. The main difference is you just take a little bit more of it. Oregano from my own garden is one of the, I think it's 3 herbs I'm using now in my antibiotic extract. I have a video on this that I'll go ahead and link down below. So again, oregano is just one of those, and you can check out that video to see the other herbs that I use and how I make the extract itself. Oh, and my homemade extracts have worked great for healing up ear infections on several different occasions. So not on myself, but a couple of different family members that have had ear infections, adult family members, have all they needed is 1 dose and it cleared it right up. Well, I think there was one that had to take take it 2 or 3 days in a row to clear up their infection, but it still worked and it was effective. They didn't have to go to the doctor and get on the antibiotics that way. They just did it the natural way, and I was able to give it to them and it didn't cost them anything. Another thing that I've been using oregano oil in, so I have Now Foods oregano oil. It's been very effective. It's very powerful. Now keep in mind, if you're talking about an essential oil, oregano oil is very, very hot, and in most cases you're not going to want to use it straight. You're going to need to dilute it in a carrier oil, whether it be you're taking it internally or you're using it externally. It can burn the skin. So I've actually taken it internally by doing just a drop on the tongue. Some people do it sublingually, which means they'll use it under their tongue, but you're only going to need a drop if you're taking it for internal uses like that. You do have to be very careful with it because it is such a hot oil, and also being careful when you're taking it internally not to take it too often. If you're taking it to try to cure up something internally, that's fine, but you need to take breaks from it because, again, it is antibiotic, and it can, too much can have an effect on your gut flora. So just keep it balanced out like you should anything. But I find eating fresh oregano right off the plant can be almost as hot as taking the oil itself. So if you've got your oregano growing fresh right now, just go eat it right off the plant. Take a sprig or two daily, and that should help with some infections you might be trying to heal internally or gut issues. A lot of people will take it for the sake of getting rid of candida. So anyway, back to what I was saying. I rabbit trailed, but those were still important points I was going to bring up. The oil I have added to my homemade healing salve for skin, and I've been using it on all kinds of things, including the burn that I got from a canning accident I had that I did talk about in a recent video that I will link to down below, and we'll be talking about more. So you want to be careful, especially if you're going to use it on something like that. You don't put too much of the oil in because, again, it's very hot, but it's been very effective at helping with various skin ailments, and I've added the oregano oil to that. Now, another newer thing I've been using the oregano in, and this is both my own homegrown and dehydrated oregano and the Now Foods oregano oil, is making a soap that I sell in my store. And so this soap is more for using for antibacterial, antiviral properties because, again, oregano is antiviral. So the soap is colloidal silver, activated charcoal, and oregano. And so that should be a very good disinfecting type soap for washing your hands or whatever you want to do with it, because we also know that charcoal is good at drawing out toxins, whether it be if you're taking the charcoal internally or using it externally. A lot of people will add charcoal to their tooth powder as well because of that. So the combination with the colloidal silver and the oregano should be very good at helping to kill viruses and bacteria. Okay, now let me talk a little bit about golden oregano, which is actually my very favorite oregano. Now, I do use the Mediterranean oregano in my Italian sauces, but when it comes to the golden oregano, because it has a much more mild flavor, I add it to a lot more things that I cook with because it's just not as strong and it has a more sweet flavor. And I use it fresh a lot in salads. It not only adds a beautiful lime green color to the salads, it has this wonderful flavor. I compare it more to marjoram, but I like the flavor of it better, which, by the way, marjoram is also an oregano of its own. Now, I would assume, because this is an assumption on my part, just my own hypothesis, because it isn't as hot or pungent as your Mediterranean oregano, my assumption is going to be that the golden oregano, though it should have all the same benefits, it's going to be not quite as potent as your Mediterranean oregano. So that's just something to consider, and that's why I don't use the golden oregano when I'm making a medicinal extract in itself. But to eat it fresh or add it to salads, it's still going to have a lot of good healthy benefits, plus all that wonderful flavor. Plus, I love the way golden oregano looks in the garden. It also is very easy to grow from the same way, to start from the same way, and it will spread, and it can make a beautiful lime green carpet in your garden. And so I try to grow it in places that are very visible and get lots of sun, because the golden oregano gets most of that bright green color from the sun. So I'm going to show you a couple pictures here. Here is a photo of one of my plants out front before I cut it back and harvest it to dehydrate. You can see that beautiful chartreuse lime green color, but then when I hacked it way back, I just kind of mow it down with some scissors. You can see lower down the area that's now exposed in this picture is a much darker green. It's not as dark as your regular oregano, but it's darker than that color so that was at the top. So the more sun exposure it gets, the brighter the color gets. So down at the bottom, now that area is being exposed to sun, it's going to also turn that nice beautiful lime green. So yes, I use it in all kinds of savory type dishes, the golden oregano, and just love it. And again, don't forget to add it to those salads if you're growing it. A lot of people have had a hard time finding golden oregano. Now, I'm not going to be selling any seeds because I keep mine cut back because I like to get a lot dehydrated up for the year. So that means, same thing goes with my other oregano. It never gets a chance to flower because I'm always cutting it back. So I won't have seeds available. You can check Baker Creek. I know they've had a lot of issue keeping all kinds of different seed in stock. Again, I think when it comes to oregano, if you know someone that's growing it, the easiest way to get it started is from the plant itself. But here's what I recommend. If you can't find anybody that has the golden oregano, ask your local nursery if they can get it in. That's how I got mine, is our local nursery. I asked them to carry it, they got it in, and I bought several plants. Again, I am just crazy about golden oregano, and I think you would love it too. If you like marjoram and you like just oregano in general, I think you would love the golden oregano. And besides that, you know, it just, the beauty it adds to the garden, just that other shade of green just really makes the colors pop. Okay, I believe that's all I was going to say today about oregano. I do hope you're enjoying my series. I will put down below a link to my whole entire playlist. Now keep in mind, this playlist goes back almost 4 years, back to when I first started my channel, and you know, I was still learning about editing and all that kind of stuff. But I hope you do still enjoy even the older videos too. There is quite a bit in there. So yeah, go check out that playlist so you can learn more and be watching for more videos coming in the future that I'll keep adding to this list. And share with us down below your favorite ways to use oregano and your favorite kind of oregano. All right, well, thanks for watching. Take care and God bless.